Cracking, ladies and gentlemen, 49 coming at you another community shoutcast for the OUSA Dota League Season 1. Just loading into a best of 3 series between Bambi Rising and 2IP. Joining me as co-caster will be Valory from the former team TYK. He'll be co-casting with me from in-game, so we won't hear him until he loads in. Should be a pretty good series. Both 2IP and Bambi Rising, very strong teams from the Group 2 playoffs. I think they played off before in the past, and I think Bambi Rising actually did beat 2IP in the 2-0. Just because of the fact they were able to utilize Rat Dota to win last time, so it'll be interesting to see what they choose to do. 2IP, of course, is the dark horse of the ODL 1. They have won a lot of series so far against some very powerful teams. They're actually the first and only team so far to have beaten Team Blink. So 2IP have first pick. Valerie, you win?
Team ban.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're very quiet. Try turning up your settings a bit.
Team ban.
Okay, I'll try that.
Say something now. Okay, so it looks like he's going to be installing a few settings. Oh. You good to go? Actually, while that's happening, just going to quickly log out of Steam. So 2IP with the first ban Invoker, very standard. Bambi Rising did deliberating a bit on their first ban. I guess they're recognizing the fact that 2IP have first pick, so they probably want to ban out that Ember Spirit, so they're afraid of giving that away to 2IP. Ember Spirit, incredibly powerful mid lane hero, just because the fact that he has incredibly high mobility with his ultimate, as well as very high solo killing power. Just because of the fact that every time he throws out that Slayer Fist, he could combo it with the Searing Chains. They're choosing instead to ban out that Lycanthrope, so respect ban to 2IP, and 2IP instantly ban out the Ember Spirit. So that means that Bambi Rising could actually let Slark through the pool. Or if they ban out the Slark, and they're letting Timbersaw, Nature's Prophet, and Clockwork, all very common first bans. So it'll be interesting to see what hero Bambi Rising chooses to let out of the pool. The reason why they banned out the Lycanthrope is it's one of Wolfcut's best heroes. Lycanthrope is an incredibly powerful, aggressive carry hero, just because of the fact that he picks up steam a lot faster than any other carry hero in the game does, since he has the inbuilt steroid from his Shapeshift as well as the Feral Impulse. So about 10-15 minutes of the game, he can start pushing down all your towers. They ban out the Slark. So say, Valerie, any thoughts so far on the bans?
Radiant
Yeah,
team pick.
pretty standard. I'm just thinking that Lycan is going right now. He's like, just because everyone just keep banning him, it seems like they don't know how to deal with him.
Yeah.
He's being up quite recently. I think what they could have done here, they could try and let Lycan go through, because they're definitely gonna pick it, and try and pick counter for Lycan.
10 seconds remaining.
Naga Siren.
Yeah, Naga Siren's a great counter.
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
Do you think Brewmaster's a good counter to the Lycanthrope? What makes you think Brewmaster's a good counter?
Radiant team pick.
Just like when Lycan is going to a war form, you can just use ulti on Master, and you can just cyclone him up, and that took like 6 seconds, and his ulti away. When he come down, just stun him. Just as long as you keep him in place. Ulti.
Right. I was actually kind of disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting to see more Brewmaster from your games. I kept telling Pandy to say, pick Brewmaster, everyone wants to see a Pandy Brewmaster, but instead he picked Lone Druid, so... Hey, I don't know, maybe things could have turned around with the Pandarian Brewmaster, we don't know. But very interesting to note that 2IP actually have let through Bambi's strongest hero, which is Visage. Bambi the Retarded Chiyu, probably the best Visage player in the ODL 1. Exceptional micro skills coming out from him. In the last series I played against 2IP, he was actually able to single-handedly delay the push coming out from 2IP, just by using his familiars to leash back the creep wave, and to prevent 2IP from being a push at all, since without the creep wave, backdoor regeneration kicks in. So they're leading up with Weaver, one of Ghouli's best heroes for that carry position. The advantage of having that Weaver is the fact that he can work very well in the tri-lane, or also can go in the off-lane in the 1v1 situation. So it could be what Bambi Rising choosing to do. So they know that 2IP, they're a team that excels on these big teamfight clashes and these huge ganks. So what they want to do is they want to draw the game out as late as possible. Just because they recognize that the biggest weakness of 2IP's draft is the fact that they always pick up a strength carry for Wolfcunt. And so he'll peak in about the early mid-game to mid-game kind of area. So that's when they thrive on all these big team fights. So if you could, the later you drag the game out, the more effective your team becomes against that composition. But 2IP, they're choosing to counter this with 2 very aggressive pickups. You've got the Ancient Apparition, the other king of the tri-lane, so we've got Visage up against the AA. So you've got Chilling Touch over the Soul Assumption. It doesn't have that sheer amount of burst power that Visage has, but it has a lot more overall utility, with the fact that he also has the snare from the Ice Vortex, as well as the damage amplification, as well as lockdown coming in from the Cold Feet. Once he hits level 6, the fact he can completely shut down the regeneration, very critical factor in these fights, especially if you get off on the mech carrier. Disruptor, also a highly aggressive support hero, just for the fact that you can glimpse enemy heroes back. It means if you lose a fight against a team with a Disruptor, you're going to be losing 2-3 more heroes than you intended to, just because you're able to glimpse back and run down anyone that's retreating. And a Death Prophet ban coming up from 2 IP, so they're fearing that sheer amount of push power coming up from them, especially with the fact that Visage with his familiars can push very well. And Weaver, with the fact he has Geminate attack as well as a Swarm to draw tower aggro away from the creeps, actually is a fairly competent solo pusher. What are your thoughts so far in the draft, Valory?
5 seconds remaining.
Disruptor is good pick against a Weaver. Pretty good pick against a team with
Reserve time.
because you can just punish them.
Yeah, and you have to keep in mind
Just a glimpse.
that Static Storm, if you catch out the Weaver with the Static Storm Connect Field combination, Weaver is completely useless, since Weaver you very rarely want to build a BKB. In fact, like a Mirana, you don't want to build a BKB unless you absolutely have to. So the fact that Disruptor could actually be forcing Weaver to build that BKB will severely delay his core. Chaos Knight being banned out by Bambi Rising, they've been doing their homework. Respect ban coming out from Wolfguard, one of his best heroes, just because of the fact that Chaos Knight, he has incredibly powerful tri-lane presence with the fact you've got that Chaos Bolt. So it's either a 0 to 200, you're either receiving 200 nuke or a 2 to 4 second stun. Hell of a lot of damage that comes out from that, as well as the fact you've got that Reality Rift to reposition yourself as well as the enemy hero closer towards your lines. That gives the Ancient Apparition Disruptor more time to beat people down. Luna being banned out by 2 IP, so they're faring strong, aggressive tri-lane carries. Luna, exceptionally powerful carry. I think so far she's the carry with the highest win rate in 6.80. Just because of the fact that she's consistently powerful at all stages of the game, especially when you combo the Luna with the hero like a Visage that has that Soul Assumption, so you've got 2 very powerful burst nukes to throw out. Lucent Beam, follow up the Soul Assumption, Grave Shield to give Luna time to beat people down. Puck banned out, another respect ban over the Mule, who plays an absolutely phenomenal Puck. He was able to pick up something like an 11-minute Blink Dagger in their series against Horseman of the Ruckus. One of the reasons why they were able to turn that game around and go for the kill, just the fact that Puck with a very early Blink can create so much ruckus in fights because you can blink in, get that waning rift on several heroes. It's got a massive AoE, so you're very likely to be able to silence 3 to 4 heroes, throw out that Dream Coil and lock them in place, and then you combo that with the Static Storm and the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, and that's a fight instantly won.
5 seconds remaining.
What do you think 2IP and Bambi Rising should be banning out as their 5th heroes?
Reserve time.
You can't say anything at this point. It depends on the last 2 heroes they picked. Centaur.
Dire team pick.
Bambi Rising, going for their signature hero, Centaur Warrunner, Mujreem's best hero. Mujreem probably is the best Centaur Warrunner I've seen so far in the ODR1. His offlane play is absolutely fantastic. The fact that makes him such an effective Centaur Warrunner player is once he does pick up a Blink Dagger, he'll be able to consistently land 2 3-man hoof stomps. And when you think about it, that's a 2.75 second stun on 2 to 3 heroes, can instantly turn fights around, as well as the utility that comes out from that Stampede. Bambi Rising, even though they've picked up some slow heroes such as that Visage, they have got a huge amount of mobility with that Stampede. And 2IP going with their Wraith Kings, they're playing balls to the wall. They've got some Sis level aggression coming out with the Wraith King pickup. The biggest issue with the Wraith King though is you usually want to pick him up as second fiddle to another carry. Just the fact that if he's your one position hero and the enemy team picks up someone like a Lion or an Invoker, they could shut him down by controlling his mana pool. He tapers off in effectiveness, whereas if you have another carry, you force them to this damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Since if you focus down the Wraith King, not only is he going to come back with Reincarnate, he also provides that massive snare, 75% movement and attack speed snare, and a huge AoE for 3 seconds. It gives your other carry enough time to beat them down. If you focus on the other carry, the Wraith King will have an absolute ball of a time, running around, stunning people and stabbing them.
Reserve time.
So it'll be interesting to see if Bambi Rising chooses to pick up Lion as their secondary support hero in conjunction with the Visage. Lion is a pretty effective counter to the Wraith King in the early stages of the game, because you could use that mana drain to control them. And so the biggest issue with Wraith King is he has to get that ball rolling. He's got no inbuilt farming mechanisms. He relies on getting kills and getting ahead that way. So if you are able to kill him and shut him down by denying him mana so he can't throw out the Red Fire Blast and deny him from using that Reincarnate, Wraith King actually does taper off very quickly, especially against a very mobile hero such as the Weaver. You can simply kite him around using that Sakuchi. So every time he throws out that Red Fire Blast, you reposition yourself. You could even disjoin it. And if you do ever get very low, you can use that time lapse. You can keep chasing him around. And Abbadon picked up by Bambi Rising.
Team pick.
Very effective counter to the Wraith King, just because of the fact that you've got that aphotic shield. So since Wraith King's Hellfire Blast is such a long projectile speed and travel time, by the time it hits them, Abbadon can be in position to instantly shield them off. So that means that you always have to stun the Abbadon, but once Abbadon hits level 6, with that borrowed time, you're not going to be able to kill him. So he's an excellent support hero if used very defensively. So Bambi Rising from their draft so far, they want to try to drag the game out as long as possible and try to mitigate the aggressive power coming out from 2IP. Any thoughts on the Abbadon pickup, Valory?
5 seconds remaining.
Like Vulcan's new favorite hero.
Reserve time.
I think Wraith King's gonna struggle with this game, although I have 100% win rate so far
Mm-hmm.
for 2IP, but Centaur can just kite. His ultimate allows him to kite Wraith King like whole team.
Yep. It's something to keep in mind as well. Wraith King, you counter him the same way you counter a Nyx. You build 4 staffs, you build mobility, and you just kite him around. Since unlike Nyx, who actually has above average movement speed, Wraith King's incredibly slow. So usually phase drums and the S and Y is actually a very good build up for the Wraith King. It's because the biggest issue is actually being able to get on top of people and being able to hit them. And so having the mobility from the phase, the drums, and the S and Y means that not only are you getting more hits in, you're effectively doing more damage than if you went for conventional carry items such as the Treads and the Skull Basher, since you're getting more hits off, utilizing your mobility. But like Valerie was saying, with that Stampede, it makes it incredibly easy to be able to kite that Wraith King around. So all really comes down to the initiation coming up from 2 IP. It's really, they're probably regretting the fact that Puck has been banned out, since Puck is an excellent hero in conjunction with the Wraith King, since Dream Coil forces them to stay in a single location, so you can use that to be able to finish them off while they're stuck in. But 2 IP, delaying a bit on the 4th pickup. Yoda, he's using the Force, using his Battle Meditation to try to figure out what hero he wants to go for. Probably will be looking to pick up a mid hero or an offlaner now, most likely an offlaner, since mid heroes you usually want to pick them near the end, just because so many of them can be hard countered by other mid heroes.
Wraith King can also go off
10 seconds remaining.
against Weaver.
Yeah. So they could be picking up, I think Clockwork would be a really good pickup, but no, they're going for an offlane or possible mid Doom. Doombringer is an incredibly flexible hero. Just because he, if in an offlane situation with Devour, even if he gets completely zoned out of the lane, he'll still be able to pick up a huge amount of gold. And the fact that makes Doom such an effective offlaner is he could pick up something like a 7-8 minute mechanism, so about the same speed or faster than either a jungle enigma or an offlane Darkseer in a 1v1 situation. And so if once Doombringer picks up a mechanism, he is almost impossible to kill in the early stage of the game, just because Scorched Earth gives you so much HP regeneration. Combo with the EHP you get from Mech with the armor provides you, as well as that burst heal. Very tough nut to crack. Also has that Doom, which completely counters Abbadon, to renders him completely ineffective in all these fights. Also can use it on the Weaver to shut him down. Weaver without Sakuchi and without time lapse is basically just a pissed off walking bug, so you can't just smack him down. Timbersaw being banned up by Bambi Rising, so they're considering the fact that Doombringer can go mid. It is a fairly effective mid player. Hero, we see 5200 dead meat pose over from Bambi Rising. He does like to play that Doombringer mid, because he has very high base damage, and with that Devour, it's hard to bully him out of the lane with Scorched Earth and Devour. And over in the mid lane, especially, the fact that you can constantly, if you're over on the Radiant side, you can rotate over to the medium camp and try to eat a creep there. So if you're able to pick up something like a Wolf, you could use the damage aura as well as the crit to be able to help you CS. You can pick up a Satyr by moving a bit further down to the hard camp. So it opens up a lot of utility for the Doombringer. And Viper being banned up by 2 IP. So they could actually be going for, I'm thinking, maybe Templar Assassin? What are your thoughts on the possible mid-hero from 2 IP?
10 seconds remaining.
Templar would be alright.
5 seconds remaining.
Since his base armor is so low.
Oh no, I'm thinking from 2 IP picking up the Templar and having a Doom offlane.
Oh, is that what you mean?
Yeah. Because it's one of Mule's best heroes.
They could do that, but again, Stampede can just like negate the
Mhm.
side trap.
That's
And
true.
they got Weaver, though. They need something to lock down Weaver. Yeah, they got enough lockdown. They got the Doom, the stun, Dragon Knight.
So it looks like 5200 is going to be playing that Dragon Knight mid. Dragon Knight's a very solid pickup just because he's consistently powerful through all stages of the game. However, he does need a lot of gold to become effective as a carry hero. Most likely will be going for Boots, Bottle into Treads, then build towards a BKB. It's a pretty conventional Dragon Knight build, since it lets you hold the line for the rest of your team. With that level 2 EDF with the BKB and the 400 range stun on the Dragon Tail, as well as being able to throw out a few breed fires, you actually can do a fair amount of damage in team fights. Dragon Knight's a pretty solid pickup in the mid lane, since it's difficult to be able to beat a Dragon Knight 1v1, just because even if you do completely harass him in the lane, just through Bottle Crow and the Fibrous Rat. And what do you know, they're going for the TA, so Mule sticking to his guns. TA against a Dragon Knight, I'd have to give the advantage over to the TA, just because the fact that Psyblades negates Dragon Knight's biggest advantage, which is that Dragon Blood armor that it provides. Because if you hit a creep and you get that Psyblade splash damage, it's based off whatever creep, whatever target you splash it off, so it'll ignore the bonus armor that Dragon Knight has, and he's entirely reliant on that armor to keep himself alive. Dragon Knight actually has very low starting strength and strength gain, considering how much of a tank he is, just because the fact that he has such high armor. And so it's going to quickly introduce the players from both teams. 2 IP. Yoda actually going to be over on the Templar Assassin, so we're going to be seeing a Yoda Assassin. Too easy. Going to be over on that support Disruptor. He's got a really cool mount, come to think of it. Wolfcant, that carry player, over on the Wraith King, one of his signature heroes. Thundercant over on the Ancient Apparition. And Mule over on the Doombringer, so it looks like an offlane Doombringer. And so over in the mid lane, 5-200 dead Bambis. Mid player for Bambi Rising, over on that Dragon Knight. He's going for that bottle rush, being pulled 2 tangos. Very good start for him. He'll be able to pick up his bottle in the first, with the first creep wave. Mujreem on the signature Centaur Warrunner. He does so much work on that hero. We'll be keeping an eye out for him, especially on how quickly he's able to pick up that Blink Dagger. Curry over on Bambi Rising, one of the best Runic players I've seen so far. Over on the Abbadon, one of my favorite heroes. Will be good to see how quick his reflexes are, since the key with Abbadon is being a time Aphodic stun right after your Aphodic shield, right after your own hero gets stunned, so you waste as little time as possible. You don't want to cast it before, since then you lose the effect to get power drops the stun. You don't want to cast it too slow afterwards, just in case of the enemy hero gets jumped, so you have to keep in mind Abbadon's cast point, range, and turn speed. Bambi the retarded Chiyu on his signature hero, the Visage. He's probably the best Visage player I've seen the ODL1. He's got that Grandmaster StarCraft 2 micro, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. And Ghoulie over on his Weaver. He's been playing a pretty great Weaver in the past few games of casting him. He's going to be going in the off-lane 1v3. Actually, looks like a tri-lane Centaur Warrunner, huh? I haven't seen this at Horseman the Ruckus. Yeah, I'm actually not too sure how I feel about this, just because the issue with Centaur Warrunner in the Tri-v-Tri situation is the fact that he's a melee hero, so he has to get very close, and the only ability that they have to help close the gap is the Grave Chill. While Grave Chill's a very powerful spell, the fact that you could drop a Kinetic Field, you could drop the Cold Feet, or the Ice Vortex and back away, it really hinders the effectiveness of Centaur Warrunner. Just because he could also... Yeah, it's a 2 IP. They're not clashing Tri-v-Tri. Doombringer, in this case, should actually be having a pretty good time, just because since Centaur Warrunner didn't start with boots, Doombringer will be able to get some CS by using that Devour. He'll actually have an easier time than the Weaver, just because even if he doesn't get completely zoned out of the lane, just through that Devour, you see right now, he ate 1 creep, and he's almost level 2. He's going to be able to passively pick up level 2 very quickly. You see a very aggressive Sentry Ward placed. Wraith thing, he's going for his pretty standard Magic Stick build, and it looks like they're switching it up, so they're going to leave Centaur Warrunner over in the offlane 1v1 against the Doombringer, just because he knows that Doombringer will get completely shut down by the Centaur Warrunner in 1v1 situation, since Doom can't trade hits with that return, and as a melee hero, it's much easier to be able to land that Hoof Stomp and then follow up the double edge to be the kill him. The thing to keep in mind though is Doom actually is really tanking himself, and so double edge could actually turn around and fairly badly on Centaur Warrunner if he doesn't time it properly, if he underestimates how powerful the Scorchless regeneration is. 5-200, getting zoned out of lane by Yoda. But he's been keeping on track in terms of CS. Yoda's got 1 more deny and 1 more CS than him. But other than that, not too bad. Over in the bottom lane, Wolfcut, however, is completely out-denying Ghoulie over in the Weaver. You have to keep in mind, denies are just as important, if not more important, than last hits, especially in the early stages of the game, when you're in a 1v1 situation, or if you're against one hero, just because it does cripple the amount of EXP they get. Mule, he's actually getting dove upon. Not enough mana from Mujreem to be able to go with the Hoof Stomp. Never mind, he just barely has enough mana. Chose not to go with that Hoof Stomp, though.
The Dire's top tower is doing its best.
Could have potentially been a kill, but too easy hanging around. He had Thunderstrike at level 1, so there isn't really all too much you can actually do to help out in that. You can throw out the Thunderstrike and poke him a bit with a few right clicks.
Is under attack.
But other than that, Bambi Rising actually not really controlling the creep equilibrium very well, so they're going to give Mule as well as Too Easy a lot of free EXP. They will eventually be able to push that tower down, but looks like they've divulged into dual lanes. So Wolfcut over in the bottom lane against the Weaver. Looks like his support's actually rotating out. So Ancient Apparition, Thundercut, he's moving top. So they're just going to leave Wolfcut alone against the Weaver. Very surprising they're choosing to do this, just because Wraith King does get shut down pretty hard by the Weaver, with the fact that Weaver trades very well in terms of harassment through gem and attack. And with that Sakuchi, it's very difficult for the Wraith King to ever get a kill attempt on him. Especially with the fact that you've got Curry on the Abbadon hanging around in the background. So if things ever do get tough, he can just walk in, throw out that Miscall, and follow up with the Aphodic Shield. So he's going for the very conventional Abbadon build, which is to max out the Aphodic Shield, follow up with the maxing out that Miscoil. He could choose to pick up 1 point over the Curse of Avernus, just to give him the rest of his teammates that attack speed and movement speed buff. Just going to take a quick break and grab some water. Valerie, can you take it from here?
Alright. Okay, top lane, like Centaur Warrunner chasing. Slow assumptions. Oh, nearly get first blood on a Doom.
Oh, you're kidding me. I almost missed first blood. Oh, wow. Mule just barely able to limp himself to safety.
I think I'm not sure if he got that double edge off, or that would have been the first blood.
Yeah, from the look of Centaur Warrunner's HP, no, I think he only has 1 point double edge. He chose to skill a point in return, so if he got that second point in double edge, that would have been a kill for sure.
No money for you.
Dragon Knight?
Like a diamond bot lane. Weaver is getting, he'll be fine.
Yeah, Weaver and Abbadon is an incredibly powerful, aggressive combination. The thing that you have to keep in mind with Abbadon is he's a purely defensive hero in terms of his abilities, but if you pair him with an aggressive hero like that Weaver or like that Bristleback, he actually can function very well aggressively, just because he gives you that possibility to be able to dive. And so Weaver, Abbadon, very powerful pub combination. Ancient Apparition, looks like he's going for that Chilling Touch build. He's picked up Boots. So he's doing very well for himself in terms of support.
Run, little bottom tower. Run.
Mule TPing back top. He's going to get as much gold as possible. Looks like he'll be the one going for that mechanism, just because it frees up a lot of space and gold for the rest of his team. It means they can take these early engagements, which 2IP love to do. Yoda duking it out with 5200. Actually, 5200's doing fairly well. He is behind compared to the Templar Assassin, but all things considered, he's not doing as badly as he could be. Templar off to a very good start. Already has phase boots up on him, as well as a Smoke of Deceit, so he's going to be looking to make some huge plays the instant he has an opportunity to do so. But 5200 so far has been controlling the runes better than the Templar Assassin. That's just because with that Breed Fire, he's got a much more reliable means of controlling creep equilibrium. Wolfgunt's about to hit level 6. With one more creep wave on top of the one that's already coming, he should be able to pick it up. And with that Reincarnate, while he's not getting a lot of gold, per se, compared to the Weaver, he's getting a lot of EXP. And so once he hits level 7, he can start going for these early engagements. EXP is fairly important for that Wraith King, since you want to get level 2, level 3 Reincarnate as soon as possible. Level 1 Reincarnate has such a long cooldown that once it's on cooldown, you want to make sure you pick up level... You're probably going to pick up level 2 before it goes off cooldown again. So far in terms of net worth, we see Bambi Rising actually out-farming 2IP fairly well. It's just Yoda that's been keeping the rest of his team above water at the moment, so just in terms of CS efficiency... We see Yoda, he's actually doing a pretty cool trick. He's dropping that Smoke of Deceit over in the tree so the enemy team can't see it. So that way, when he wants to rotate and go for ganks, he can drop it and then Grave Chill over a Mule. But with no other gap closing ability, Centaur Warrunner can't really do anything, so all Bambi can do is throw a few right clicks. And so the reason why you drop that smoke off on the side is the enemy mid player, when they click on you, since they should be doing inventory checks, if you don't, then you should make that a habit to do so.
Middle tower is under
and they
attack.
see that Smoke of Deceit, you can tell to the rest of your team, hey, there's a Smoke of Deceit up on the mid hero. If he's ever missing, you know what he's doing. And so the fact that Templar Assassin's hidden off in the trees means that Dragon Knight isn't going to see that coming, neither is the rest of his team. So it means that the first gank he does with that smoke gank will be completely undetected. It's the thing that Dendy actually likes to do a lot when he's playing Pudge, or if he's playing someone like a Night Stalker. Since you always want to make sure you inventory check, especially in the middle lane, since it completely determines how aggressive you can play.
Dragon Knight's actually zoning out Templar.
Yeah, wow, Dragon Knight's actually beating the Templar Assassin in terms of CS. Oh, he actually saw the Smoke of the Seat and he kills it. Actually, 5-200 could go for a kill attempt over Yoda's gone off that Breed Fire. Yoda's just barely able to get off that Refraction. He's going balls deep, throws out that melt. 5-200 could be taking the fall right now. And First Blood, great plays from Yoda over on that Templar Assassin. Smacks him down.
Mysterious.
The amount of times I've seen him do that.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Making him cocky, making him overcommit, and then turns around with that meld and cuts him in half. That's the power of that Refraction.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Mule could be taking a full 11 top lane. Glimpses back to the Centaur Warrunner, so he can't throw that double edge. Excellent play from Too Easy. Too Easy for Too Easy indeed. He could be taking a full himself, so double edge over on him. He's backing away. One more right click might be enough, and that Soul Assumption flies out. But Visage is going to be trading his life for this. Bambi eats a meld hit. Two more right click coming out from Yoda. Mule's leading the charge, but he's going to be very careful as well. Mujreem actually could have overcommitted. Throws out the Hoof Stomp on one, but Curry instantly TPs on, throws out the Apholic Shield on the Mist Coil, and that ends the engagement. So far, trades, but 2IP doing fairly well for himself. Doombringer has 1,000 gold off his mechanism. So in about 3 minutes, he'll be picking up. Time lapse marked by the Weaver, as well as another Sentry, Thundercunt, playing very aggressively, using that Chilling Touch to be able to smack him around. Make sure that he can't get CS without being at risk for his life. Wraith King's picked up his Reincarnate. Looks like he's going for that Midas, so that traditional Wolfcut build. He loves Midas over that Wraith King. Too Easy might actually get caught out of position. Mujreem's hanging around. He's got enough mana for a Hoof Stop. Follow up with a level 3 double edge, and Too Easy will be taking a fall if he is caught out. But he's playing it safe. He's got that level 2 glimpse up. He'll be wanting to get that kinetic field with his next level up. And Mule playing very passively. He knows that every time he has Devour off cooldown, he's going to be using it. He could actually choose to go for a Hand of Midas himself. Since, I guess, 2IP, if they've done their homework, yeah, it looks like he's going for Hand of Midas. They know that Bambi Rising like to take their games late and drag it out as long as possible. So 2IP could be taking that same strategy and saying, we're going to secure the late game with these early Midases and use the Templar Assassin's mid-game presence to help ensure that your carries don't get enough farm as our carries. And then just trade it up with 3 cores. Since over on Bambi Rising, they're 2 cores. They've only got 2 cores so far. The Dragon Knight as well as the Weaver. Centaur Warrunner does scale fairly well into the late game just because he is always a threat with the Hoof Stomp as well as the Double Edge. But he doesn't scale as well as the Doombringer does. Glimpses back the Abbadon, so Curry looks like he's going to be attacking the full there. Doesn't have enough mana. Kinetic Field trapping in place. Thunderstruck providing vision so he can't juke out. Soul Assumption flies over a mule, but not going to do enough damage. Yoda uses Mel to sit down in the middle of that. 5-200 running back in. Throws out that Breed Fire. Yoda pops Refraction once again. Too Easy's going to be the one that's going to be taking a fall. So he's called out position. Side Trap, dropped 5 bit of defensive fire. But there isn't all too much he can do. And Bambi's able to take another cheeky kill. While that's happening, over in the bottom lane, Wolfcunt very low, but he's got Reincarnate. Ghoulie turns around for a few more right clicks. He actually could cost him his life. One more right click from Wolfcunt. He says, take a knee, peasant, and smacks him. He still has Reincarnate off cooldown. He's picked up his hand of money. Now Yoda, Refraction Charge is popping. That's off. It's got about 5 more seconds before it's off cooldown, but he's got Meld up. Courier flying through on the top of that. Defensive side trap keeps Mule alive as he's regenerating up that Scorch there. Yoda pops Refraction. He's saying, let's dance. Trying to bait in 5-200. 5-200. He's seen that movie before. He knows the spoilers for that. Take a knee, Insect. There's a Smack Talk coming out from Wolfcunt. That's what he loves to do. EDF 1. Pop by 5-200. Bit of Smack Talk coming out from 2IP. They love to get rowdy. They love their Smack Talk. Keep in mind, Wraith King still has his level 1 Reincarnate off cooldown. He's picked up Boots as well as the Midas. 10-minute Midas over a Mule. Not the fastest Midas in the world, but as a Doombringer with maxed out Devour as well as that Midas, his gold is going to start to skyrocket. As you see, the net worth well is in favor of Bambi Rising right now. Once those Midases kick in, you better watch out. The issue with that, though, is the fact that if our Bambi Rising group up and go for these early fights, they actually can beat 2IP quite handily. But I guess 2IP is banking on the fact that Bambi Rising actually has a defensive support in that Abbadon. Weaver hasn't been playing as aggressively as he can just because he has died, and you don't want to play aggressive against a Wraith King, especially under a tower, since if you do kill him, Reincarnate's going to bring him right back to life, and he can stun you in tower range. And so I guess they're banking on the fact that Bambi Rising are playing a bit hesitant, playing a bit passive, and so they're going to try to take the game late and beat Bambi at their own game. 5-200, duking out with Wolfcunt over in the middle lane.
I don't think Bambi can win late game though, because like that Doom, if he decides to go like a Refresher, just gonna instant win the fight.
Yeah, Refresher Doom. If he does right now, Doom has 2 excellent targets that he can Doom. He can either Doom the Weaver and completely lock him out of the fight, or I think the better target would actually be the Abbadon. Since the Doomed Abbadon is worse than the melee creep, he actually can't do anything. It even disables his passives, so he can't activate Borrowed Time. So you Doom Abbadon, you instantly kill him. When you switch targets, Abbadon and Abbadon's team relies on the fact that he's going to be constantly able to throw out those Mistcoils and the Aphotic Shield to keep his team alive. And so if you deny that capability by shutting out Doom, then you're fighting 4v5, and Doombringer offers you absolutely nothing. Whereas if you Doom out the Weaver, you can kill him, but the fact that he still provides a lot of right-clicking power means that it's more so if you want to go for the early pick-off over the Weaver, but with Abbadon alive, he's going to make that job so much more difficult. Arcane Boots picked up by Thundercunt, so he's actually been doing very well for himself. He's got level 6, Disruptor, level 4, this is actually level 7 Abbadon, Ancient Apparition, getting a huge amount of farm. Abbadon has it level 6, Stampede's been popped over in the middle lane, Yoda just pops Meld over in tower range, he's gonna be fine. Wolfcunt hanging around, but he has Reincarnate, so he doesn't really care if he dies. In fact, he's saying, come at me, bro, what are you gonna do? Ice Blast line, Yoda could be taking a fall here, Refraction popped, and he hits a double edge to the face, Borrowed Time pops, and Wolfcunt, he had to leave his brother for the Wolves.
He actually stuns the creep. Missed creep.
Some TI3 players coming out from Wolfcunt. You gotta stun that boar. Mujreem, he actually almost has his Blink Dagger.
Weaver dive in the bottom lane on the AM.
Yeah, Thundercunt playing balls to the wall, using that cold feet to zone him out. He doesn't give a single fuck. He's turning around saying, come at me, bro. I know that if you want this, it's gonna burn out your time lapse. And with TP support coming in, not too much you can do. Mule picking up a lot of gold ever since he's finished his Midas. With Midas and Devour off cooldown, that's a huge influx of gold that's going to be coming his way. Yoda's items haven't progressed ever since he's gone for that, picked up the Phase Boots. It looks like he's going for the very old school TA. Yoda loves to do this. He goes Phase into the Blink Dagger. Blink Dagger picked up by Mujreem. And you see Bambi right now being very cheeky with his Familiars. He's drawing the Creep Wave back to ensure that the Radiant Creep Wave can get a few cheeky hits in on the tower. Does a lot more chip damage that way. Over in the bottom lane. Actually, on the top lane, Ghoulie's able to take a free tail 1 tower. Surprised no one TP to support. They all went for a trade. Drums picked up by 5-200, so he's going to be building towards BKB now. Owner Shadows picked up by the Abbadon. Good pickup on him. I actually would have preferred him actually just building straight towards an Arcane Boot. Wolfgunt, he's fairly low and fairly low on mana as well, so he's going to be very careful. I'm actually just going to take a quick drink of water, be right back.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Seems
attack.
like Bambi is planning to push the bot lane. They got everyone here except the Weaver, who's switched full top. With the Dragon Knight, probably gonna get it too. Support rotation TP down. Oh, seems like they're not gonna do it. TA and Disruptor have no TP.
Oh, looks like Bambi actually fed one of his familiars. Miss micro coming out from him. Ancient Apparition Ice Blast. Only he's going to actually misses completely everybody. Thundercut want to clip at least 2 or 3 with that, try to drive him off. And they actually lose their tail on bottom tower. Stampede popped. He actually goes on Thundercut. Great targeting coming out from him. Thundercut instantly takes a fall with that double edge. 5-200 lands that Dragon Top, but Wolfcut, he's got Reincarnate. Yoda blinks in with that blink tag, he's just showing off. Reincarnate's pop. Mujreem probably is going to be taking a fall. Doom over in the Abbadon, so completely mitigating Curry's influence on this team fight. 5-200 is going to be taking a fall. Wolfgut, he's back. He's got Ray Fire Blast in a few seconds. Doesn't even need to use it. Yoda's able to smack him down. Blink's about to go off cooldown for him. Curry's fleeing for his life, but Doom's worn off and he has borrowed time, so he's safe and free for the meantime. And they trade 1 kill, but they're able to take a tail 1 tower, so Bambi Rising doing very well for himself. And too easy, where was he during that fight? I guess he wanted to pick up that Static Storm, so he's over in the mid lane. Ghoulie actually can choose to dive, and Mujreem actually blinks and catches out too easy, and smacks him down with that double edge. But Yoda comes in for a bit of revenge. Actually tried to go for the Cyblade spill kill over Mujreem, but that Aphotic Shield just barely keeps him alive. Unfortunately, Yoda actually chose to hesitate on that. Wraith King turns around over on Ghoulie. Ghoulie's fleeing from his life. He denies the tower. Yoda blinks and waits for the Sakuchi to wear off. Great recognition coming up from Yoda. He's going to smack down Ghoulie. Never mind, he's able to Sakuchi out in time. Not enough mana to be able to continue chasing since he wants Refraction as well as that blink. And actually Thundercunt sniping him out. JFK Ice Blast from halfway across the map. He's Lee Harvey Oswald. Plinking him now. And Wolfgun, with his trademark banter, just saying Rex. Yeah, it's a thing to keep in mind. Dota 2 is a highly psychological game, just because it's a team-based game. So being able to chip away at the confidence or make them angry actually means that they're more likely to make mistakes. So it's a thing to keep in mind. But so far, in terms of gold lead, Bambi Rising lead the way in 2,000 gold lead for them. Let's due to the fact that they've got 3 tower kills, whereas 2 IP, they've got nothing. But in terms of EXP, 2 IP having a lot more EXP. That's just due to the fact that Thundercunt, he's been giving a lot of solo EXP. So he's level 8 for a support position, Ancient Apparition, doing very well for himself. Too easy's been on the receiving end, however, of a lot of these kills. And so he's picked up level 6, so he's got that Static Storm. Visage, he lost both his familiars. Stampede pop, they're going over on Thundercunt. Thundercunt blinked on Mujreem. He instantly pops with the Abbadon and Aphotic Shield. Borrowed time already up on Curry. Too easy, fleeing for his life. But he's going to be taking full. No support. Soul Assumption cleans him up. And that's that power, that Stampede, as well as the blink over a Mujreem. Excellent recognition coming up from him. Always jumping on the Ancient Apparition, killing him before he could get off a single spell. Using that Hoof Stomp, following up the double edge, and then right-clicking to animation cancel. And to be able to kill him off before he could do anything. Yoda over in the bottom lanes, continuing the farm.
All alone in the world, being attacked.
Probably wants to pick up a BKB. Arcane Boots finished on the Abbadon, so that gives him effectively infinite sustainability now. Visage Familiars. Leashing back the creep wave, being a bit cheeky. Ensures they're able to take this tower. Bambi Rising, the only team I've actually seen in the ODL 1 do this. Dust has been popped over Yoda. He turns around and whacks in a familiar. So he's crippling Bambi's effectiveness by killing off those familiars. Glimpses back. 5-200. Probably not the best target to go on. He actually turns around with that stun over Yoda. Yoda could be taking a fall. He's going to eat a double edge to the face. And he falls apart with Mujreem being absolutely on point. Soul Assumption cleans up too easy in the background. And 2 IP. They're actually taking a knee right now. As Bambi Rising it, taking it to them. Grouping up as 5. Taking a page from 2 IP's book. Recognizing the fact that they went for these greedy Midas pickups. And they're taking that towers. They're beating 2 IP at their own game. And Doombringer chose to go for phase drum, so he's not picking up that mech for his team. Mujreem just blinking out just to scare people off. Wraith King almost has his armlet Madigian. He went phase boots once again. But the 2 carries over on 2 IP, they actually... Yeah, Mujreem actually being glimpsed out, caught up with the Wraith Fire Blast. He's going to take a knee with Wraith King, and Yoda blinks in, smacks him down. Doom over on Weaver to completely mitigate his effectiveness. He's just Mule is just right-clicking down Bambi. Aphotic Shield keeping you alive. You have to keep in mind, Aphotic Shield makes it so much more difficult for your team to be able to kill off enemy heroes. The reason why Abbadon's such a powerful defensive support hero. And they're only able to get 1 kill off the back of that glimpse. Well, that's the power of the Disruptor. When you're retreating, he can bring you right back. Ensures it's never a risk-free retreat. You're always going to be taking a trade from that. Templar Assassin actually choosing to get a second point up in the side trap. Very unusual skill build coming up from him. Usually Templar Assassin players only get 1 point up in the side traps. The only thing that increases is the amount of traps that you get. And then you want to max out meld as quickly as possible to increase your burst damage. So interesting build coming out from Yoda.
Don't waste time hitting.
But then knocking on the tier 1, so 2 IP, they're finally going to take a tower.
Radiant should really do something about that.
They recognize that they're falling behind the mid game, so they need that influx of gold. Just because they almost lost their tier 3 and possibly could have lost their Rex if they lost another fight there. So they need to start turning around. 4,000 gold lead in favor of Bambi Rising. That's not a dip. That's the power of the Midases kicking in. That Doombringer and Wraith King now have the highest net worth in the game. So you're seeing how these Midases, that late game investment is kicking in. All they have to do is try to make it to that late game. Armload Medigian almost finished. Actually, it's finished now. All he has to do is buy the Blades of Attack. Doombringer will be interesting to see what enemy chooses to go for. Really would like to see a Mechanism picked up by him. Especially with the fact that they're going for all these 5-on-5 engagements. And the fact that Bambi Rising, I don't think they have a Mechanism up so far. Yeah, no, they don't have a Mechanism, but they've got that Abbadon. So he's effectively a walking mech.
He's gonna get mech.
Yeah. And Bambi probably will be rushing for that Agadam Scepter once he gets gold. He's got enough for that point booster. But I'm thinking with the Midas pickup on Doombringer, maybe he's going for a more greedy, like pure late game build. So he's going to completely skip that mech and start picking up something like maybe an Assault Cuirass or a Shiva's Guard. Armload Medigian finished. Too easy. He's been very poor. He's died 5 times. He's actually about 60% of the deaths over on his team. So it turns out it's actually not too easy for too easy. It's pretty hard this game, but he'll be making a comeback. Well, at least I hope so. Thunder looks like he's the one building the mech, so he's taking it for his team to ensure the late game secured. And Wolfgang, he stuns another creep. He hasn't been having a good game with those damn pesky creeps getting in his way. But Ancient Apparition, Thunder is very fun. Actually, Blink Initiation coming up from Mujreem, catches out 2 once again. EDF as well as that Dragon Tail. Wolfgang's got a pop, never mind. Armlet toggles, duking it out with the Centaur Warrunner. He actually brings him down with armlet toggling. He dies and pops reincarnate. That's snagging up the rest of his team though. In the background, Mule's able to kill off Bambi while he eats a soul assumption to the face. 5-200 is going to be taken forward. Wolfgang and Yoda smacking him around 3-for-1 trade as well as that reincarnate. That's the power of the Wraith King right now. And Ghoulie, he's running for his life. He's just skittering away. Yoda's trying to chase him down, but he knows that with that 3-second downtime with Sakuchi, he probably isn't going to be able to kill. His HP is too high right now. But Weaver able to use that time lapse to keep himself alive. He's almost got his Lincoln Sphere. So if he took a fall in that fight, that would have been huge. But nonetheless, very good trade coming out from 2IP. Mujreem had an excellent 2-man initiation, but they weren't able to bring down the Wraith King in time. And so even though they did kill him eventually, he was able to one-on-one just man-fight the Centaur Warrunner and bring him down before he died himself. And once he died, he provided that snare to ensure that Yoda was able to kill off 5-200. And it looks like Bambi Rising viciously defending their towers. They don't want to give up any of their map control just because they recognize that's the only way that they're keeping ahead right now is with that tower gold. 5-200 almost has his BKB. He's going to have it in about 1,000 gold. That'll be a huge pickup for him. So let him stand tall in these fights and completely shrug off the Ray Fire Blast, which has otherwise been ruining his day. In terms of net worth, we see that Doombringer and the Wraith King are leading the scoreboards. It's just due to the fact Doombringer has Devour and the Midas. He's picked up a plate mail, so his EHP is through the roof. With Scorched Earth, and this high strength gain, Doombringer is very tanky. And with the plate mail providing all that extra armor, it becomes that much more difficult to bring down. Wraith King, he's sitting on his gold so far. Will be interesting to see what he chooses to go for. Might see Abyssal Blade rush from him once again, so it gives him a lot of late game presence. Ice Blast clips over on the Dragon Knight, but that's it. He's pretty tanky. Wolfgang throws out a stun, but great blink dodge coming out from Mujreem. Mul runs in, dooms the Dragon Knight, so he's locking him down, but Abbadon's hanging around him. Meanwhile, Stampede able to buy space for the rest of his team. Yoda blinks in over on Bambi. Ray Fire Blast on him and the side trap. Bambi, buddy, you're not going anywhere. Victor, please. Wolfie just smacks him in half.
Doing its best, but it doesn't look good.
Bambi's mom being killed by the hunter in the top lane. Easy, Ghoulies going on him. Easy's got to be very careful right now. Where's that glimpse? He didn't want to turn around and use it. And actually, Ghoulie chooses not to dive this. He's got his Lincoln Sphere. He's going to have it fly towards him in the courier, so that'll give him a lot more team fighting capability.
Is under attack.
Disruptor hasn't been as big a impact as I thought he would be, since he's usually picked off before he can do any damage. Same thing with Ancient Apparition. The 2 supports for 2IP are dropping in these fights.
That's got to hurt.
Wow, was that another Ice Blast kill?
It was an A ultimate, and then Templar just blinked and melted.
That's that global ganking presence that you have from the Ancient Apparition. Similar to an Exalt Invoker. If you're on your own, you're going to be taking a fall. And with the amount of kills he's getting, from that combination. He's actually able to pick up that. He's going to be picking up that mech in a few more minutes. It's a very delayed mechanism, but the fact that you're not forcing your Doombringer to go for it, so he's going for pure carry items. And so is Wraith King. He's just picked something up over in the Courier. Actually, a Helm of Dominator. Very strange build coming out from Wolfcon. I'm assuming he's going to be dominating creeps and using it to stack Ancients because, oh, I guess he just wanted that extra lifesteal. You'd think with 30% lifesteal that'd be enough, but I guess you could always have more. The world is not enough. 5200, going for an Ancient Class. Stampede used defensively. With the level 2 Stampede, the cooldown is not as bad. Yoda blinks in, goes for a cheeky Meld Strike over Unguli just to make him afraid, and instantly waddles himself away. Actually, it's only level 1 Stampede. Centaur Warrunner is only level 9. While he has been doing an excellent job in these fights, the fact that he's been dying and the fact that they've been grouping up and fighting as 5 means that Bambi Rising actually is fairly EXP staffed compared to 2IP. 2IP have a 5,000 EXP, that's very significant, especially if you look at the supports. Gold leads on a move in favor of 2IP. It looks like Bambi Rising, they went for the Gambit, which is that early mid-game push. Mujreem actually gets a one-man blink over Thundercon, instantly eats a Ray Fire Blast to the face. Yoda Dukio with a double damage rune though, he's going to be taking a fall, that soul assumption finish him off. 10-second BKB, over in 5-200, Static Storm catching on to 2. Curry's completely useless, Doom up as well over in the background, dooming out Ghoulie over in the Weaver. Mujreem blinks, he's going to get another kill over in Thundercon. He's been on Ancient Apparition's ass this entire game. Wolfcon goes in, smacks someone around. Starts Armatogan and says, I don't want any part of this. The familiars are on his ass as well. Mujreem blinks in, tries to juke it, but he's going to be taken full armor toggling. He dies, but the rest of the team isn't there, so he's going to be dying for the second time. That's Wolfcon's first death this game. Bit unfortunate for him. As that feeds that spree gold, and Bambi Rising, great defensive play coming out from him. That EXP lead is heavily moving in favor.
Just dominate team fight with that Centaur.
Yeah, Centaur's blinks have been absolutely on point. Every single one of these fights, he's always able to jump on the supports and instantly decimate the backline. Without the Ancient Apparition hanging around to throw that Chilling Touch, throw out that Ice Blast, and that Cold Feet, it really loses a lot of teamfight presence. Bambi throwing out a Soul Assumption just to break the Lincoln Sphere. Pipe picked up over on the Centaur Warrunner. Very good way to mitigate a lot of damage coming out from the Ice Blast. Ice Blast scouting it out. Pipe instantly popped to prevent the Shadow debuff from doing a lot of damage.
They're gonna fight this.
Yeah, they're choosing to fight this. Roshan still isn't dead yet. You have to keep in mind, Dire side do have a significant Roshan advantage. So you have 2 angles that you can approach from. Stampede pop, Mujreem blinks in, and everyone, Ghoulie's able to kill Disruptor in the back end. Too easy, hasn't been having a good game so far, just because of all the big off power coming out from him. Wolfcon duking it out, 5-200, pops his BKB, but without his ultimate, this is a fat man in the can, even if he is glowing and golden. Mule takes a fall, the Shaman right clicks, Thundercon juking as much as he can. He gets one more right click over in the Ancient Apparition and jumps away. Yoda called out with the dust. He can't meld dodge this. He's going in for a kill over a Mujreem. Wolfcon provides some covering fire able to lock down 5-200. But Mujreem able to blink himself away. Able to pop his refraction though, so he's able to keep himself alive. But those familiars doing so much damage, and Ghoulie on an absolute killing spree. Wolfcon turns around, actually breaks the Lincoln Sphere, then dies. He does have Reincarnate up. Since he used that during that, never mind, it was on cooldown from before. And Wraith King, without Reincarnate, loses a lot of his teamfight presence. They actually could be looking to take that tier 3. Too Easy is the only one defending, even though he took a fall, just because he has such a low respawn time. And Bambi Rising, beating 2IP in their own game with these fantastic clashes. They're going to take a free Roshan off the back of that. Mujreem, he's been absolutely on point. His blink initiations onto the enemy team have been the deciding factor in these fights. Since the 2IP is always fighting from behind with one of their heroes instantly being picked off and killed before anything happens. And Apparition Ice Blast going to do a lot of damage, but with that Pipe of Insight, most of it's going to be mitigated. Although keep in mind that's a level 2 Ice Blast, it does do a fair amount of damage. Mule trying to go in for a cheeky Roshan steal, but he's got to back away. He's picked him in a Soul Cross, so pretty fast AC up on the Doombringer. Gives his team a huge increase in DPS, especially due to the fact that it reduces armor. And that Desolator picked up by Yoda. That combination with the Assault Cuirass as well as the Desolator, massive amount of burst damage coming out, especially with the melt. So he's going to be using that to try to kill people as quickly as possible. Ancient Apparition, he's 500 gold off that mech. They want to try to dodge fights until they get that mech up at least. And Doombringer, he's still farming away. He wants to pick up his next core item.
In everything but judgment.
When I play Doom, I like to go with Refresher because it's more fun. But
If you go for the Refresher though, you have to go for Arcane Boots, otherwise you can't sustain the double Doom.
yeah.
Personally, I like to go Shivas as the first big item for Doombringer, just because it makes you unkillable and it also gives you that extra snare. Also, Doombringer should actually be eating. He should be choosing what creeps he eats, since right now he's eating the Centaur. Would like to see him actually eat a Kobold, especially when you're up against a Stampede from Centaur Warrunner, as it's basically a superior drums, 12% movement speed and attack speed. 4 staff picked up by Bambi, so he's not going for the Agnum Scepter. He wants a few more defensive items. Good plays coming up from him. Since Doom is pretty easy to kite, outside the Scorched Earth, he's entirely contingent on that to be able to walk and get those smacks in. Or even if Doombringer was to eat the Wolf Creep right now, that probably would be more effective. Or actually the Ice Ogre. It's something that Doombringer players don't seem to like doing. But the fact that the Ice Ogre Ice Buff gives you plus 8 armor, and the chill buff that you get from Lich's ult, Lich's armor. Very powerful ability. Weaver eats an Ice Blast to the face, but he's been having a really good game. With that, Aegis the Immortal as well. Ghoulie isn't going to be dying anytime soon. He's going to be wanting to pick up that Desolator, and we've got a Blink Initiation coming in. 3, 2, 1, catches out 2. Thundercunt instantly dying. Yoda called out the EDF to Dragon Tail. 5200, hair trigger on his BKB. He's been chewing through those charges, but he doesn't give a damn. He's been doing a lot of work for his team. He's going towards his own Assault Cuirass. So the thing with the Assault Cuirass is pretty much a Red Queen hypothesis, since it provides plus 5 armor to your team and negative 5 armor to theirs. If the enemy team picks up their own AC, the armor bell is completely neutralized. In 2 IP, actually, they're going to be losing their first set of racks, because I don't think they can defend us right now. Templar Assassin has the majority of their damage, and he's dead. Ancient Apparition is not there to provide the Chilling Touch or the Ice Blast. And yeah, they're just going to smack this tower down, break the racks, and then back away. 2 IP really can't defend this. It's an absolute pity, since that puts Bambi Rising in a very powerful early game situation. Position right now. In terms of EXP, they're clawing their way back up with all those kills and 4,000 gold lead. Looks like the greedy Midas build coming up from 2 of the cores over on 2 IP haven't really been paying off, so they've been called out in these fights. The early Blink Dagger and the excellent initiation coming out from Mujreem has proven to be too much. It's forcing him to use fights, and when you're fighting 4v5 or 3v5, there's not too much you can do. That combination coming out with the Hoof Stomp followed by the EDF2 Dragon Tail, doing a lot of work. Wolfcart running balls to the wall. Aegis Demol's actually reclaimed in 3 minutes. He instantly goes on Thundercunt, stunning him, turns around, he's causing a lot of damage. He could be taking full. It's one right click, but they're not able to finish him off. That Familiar being able to provide so much support. Glimpse actually glimpses Curry back, and he's 4-star forward. Templar Assassin goes into him. Doom actually prevents him from using Borrowed Time. Another 4-star. It's one right click from the Templar, and he drops like a sack of potatoes. Bambi fleeing from his life from a very angry and very hungry Doombringer. He's saying, feed me. Thunderstrike preventing him from getting Juke it out. And Meld Desolator hit from Yoda just cuts him in half. Do or do not. There is no try. And Yoda's showing off his wisdom there with that pick off. They're going to be taking their tier 1 over in the bottom lane, so it's a huge influx of gold coming in favor of 2 IP. Since Bambi Rising can't defend this, so while they did lose their racks, 2 IP able to punish the over-aggression. They overstayed their welcome. Templar Assassin boon towards a BKB. Once he picks that up, it'll give him a lot of sustainability in these fights, since he doesn't have to fear the EDF Dragon Tail. He doesn't have to fear the Hoof Stomp initiation. So he just pop BKB and man fight. Wraithing as well, probably should be considering going for a BKB himself. I don't know why he went for the Helm of the Dominator. It really didn't work out all too well for him. If he went for the Skull Basher and started building towards Abyssal Blade, probably would have been a better pickup. But I guess the advantage of that build is in the later stage of the game. He could go for a Satanic. Mujreem actually wanting to go for an Initiation over on Wolfgun. Initiation probably in about 3, 2, 1. You've got 5 to 100 hanger on the back end. He's moving in. Where's that Blink? Hoof Stomp. 5-200, bit too far behind. He's actually fleeing for his life. Defensive Stampede. He does not want to hang around there with the TP support coming in. And Wolfcart denies his own tower, saying, buddy, you're a liability. And just cuts his own tower. If he picks up a Satanic in the late stages of the game, that gives him 3 lives. So I guess maybe that's his idea. He wants to take it super late, but I really don't know how effective they'll be. We see Bambi being very cheeky, doing some guerrilla warfare with the Familiars, just poking and prodding at the buildings. Any thoughts so far on the state of the game, Valerie?
No, I think that I thought 2 IP was gonna win the fight, but it was the Centaur.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah, Mujreem is the MVP for this game in terms of for Bambi Rising. He's really been doing a lot of work, making sure that either the Disruptor or the Ancient Apparition or the Templar are being called out and locked down before they can do anything. Thundercunt hasn't been able to get off a single Chilling Touch during a team fight just because he dies so quickly. All of his Ice Blasts have been fantastic, but he's doing them before the fight happens, since during the fight he dies instantly. But with the Midas up and with the sheer amount of gold coming in, Doombringer's going for a BKB. He almost has it. Doombringer with a 10-second BKB, especially when you consider the fact that Dragon Knight, his BKB is wearing off. He's only got 7 seconds now. He almost has his Assault Cuirass. Looks like Wraith King's going for the Skull Basher, so he's picked up the Sacred Relic first. Very greedy build coming up from him. Would have preferred Skull Basher just because it gives you that 25% chance to stun people, so it enables you to man fight, especially against Ghoulie, who has a Desolator. And you see that Ancient stacking going to give it a lot of gold. Would have liked to see some Ancient stacking happening from Wolfguard, just because of the fact that he has the Dominator.
Has he dominated any creep?
I don't think he has, no, he's just got it for show. Yeah, I'm questioning the Helmet of Dominator. Helmet of Dominator is usually an item that you pick up on very few heroes. Usually, Luna's probably the only hero I'd say it's core on. Just because it gives us such a huge increase in farming capability. So it lets you stack and you can clear it out with the glaives. And then later on you can build towards the Satanic. But Wraith King, he doesn't really need a Satanic just because he's so damn hard to kill to begin with. That gold could have better been spent elsewhere. If he hadn't bought that Helmet of Dominator, he would have had his Abyssal Blade up by now. And that Abyssal Blade, especially in conjunction with the Doom, means that they could kill Ghoulie, or they could instantly lock down and kill Curry, so he's not a factor in these fights. But I guess Abbadon, he's been playing that bodyguard role, since he's eating the Doom for Ghoulie to ensure that they don't Doom him. You have to keep in mind, though, the EXP advantage over on Bambi Rising actually could turn around and bite them in the ass, since level death does do a crap ton of damage, 20% of your max HP if you're at levels a multiple of 3. Assault Cuirass picked up by Dragon Knight. And looks like 2IP might be able to go for an initiation. But the issue with that, though, is the only initiation they have is from Yoda, and you don't want to blink in as a TA without any backups, as you've got no lockdown. Well, I guess Wolfcunt can run up and throw out a stun, but compare that to the Blink Hoof Stomp coming out from Mujreem, and Bambi Rising popping their own smoke. And so they recognize that 2IP were going for a smoke gank, and they popped their own, waiting it out. They're using Ghoulie as bait, since Ghoulie, with the Sakuchi with the time-lapse, highly immobile. They're turning around EDF 3 as well as the BKB pop, catching out 2 with that hoof stomp. Wolfgun can be taking a fall here. Mule's also caught up in it. Ice Blast whips, is able to clip him. Curry's been zoomed out. Easy as well as Wraith King take a fall, but he's reincarnating back in. Yoda's stunned during this, and Mechanism's keeping it alive. Wolfgun turns around and smacks him down. Ghoulie dookie out with Mule. He wishes he had an Abyssal Blade right now. That would have been a free kill. Dust pop. Yoda's chasing him down. Time lasts himself back to safety. He's barely keeping himself alive. Borrowed time popping on Curry. Mujreem able to get a 2-man hoof stomp. Mule runs and catches the rare end of the double edge. He dies to the familiars. Never mind, Ghoulie's able to pick him off. Yoda man fighting, but with his support killed off. He's hiding out, trying to do as much damage as he can. He wants to kill Mujreem. He might be able to kill him off. Never mind. Curry's keeping it alive. Great plays coming up from Mujreem. Juking, then following up the hoof stomp. And then the soul assumption coming out from Bambi.
Bottom tower is under attack.
This Abbadon pickup really has crippled the effectiveness of 2IP.
It has no arms to defend itself.
A lack of respect ban from Mujreem. He's been doing so much work in these fights. 2.4k up on him. He can pick up a 4-star of his own. Or he can even start building towards a harder Tarrasque. He's built all the utility items for his team.
Bottom tower is under attack. I feel sad.
And yeah, he's picked up that 4-star, so ultra utility Centaur Warrunner. You can blink in, go for that hoof stomp, 4-star yourself out of danger once you double edge.
Is under attack.
And then wait till your blinks off cooldown again to go for another blink hoof stomp and follow up with that double edge. His initiations have been absolutely fantastic, crippling the effectiveness of 2-Easy as well as Thundercut. Disruptor has been completely ineffective this game. Looks like he's going for his own mechanism. That must be some miscommunication. The mechanism, when you use it, it applies a buff, and so you can't heal them again. Otherwise, it would be an overpowered item. I don't actually understand what the...
Why not? That's weird. Probably just a miscommunication.
Yeah, he definitely should have gone towards a 4-star. It's a great way to counter the Blink Hoof Staff initiation. And if your teammates get stunned out, you can 4-star them back.
I guess 2-make is still fine, since you have that time period where the make just wears off, and your own make still is on cooldown.
I guess, but you need some... I guess the rationale behind it, since Thunder's been dying so quickly in these fights, he hasn't actually been able to get his mech off.
Yeah, I don't know why, but he's been losing team fights, except that Centaur. Like, their team fight is much more stronger, but it's just that Centaurs keep on stunning the support.
Yeah.
Right away.
The fact that you could instantly start a fight 3v5 or 4v5 with that Blink Hoof Storm coming out from Mujreem's been doing so much work. BKB up on Weaver, so he's playing it very safe. He knows that he's got all the damage he needs. His team is being able to provide that lockdown, that utility, with the Abbadon keeping it alive. He wants that BKB then, so he doesn't constantly eat the Wraith Fire Blast to the face. As you saw, it actually does a fair amount of work. Wraith King, 700 gold offers Abyssal Blade. He really wants an Abyssal Blade if he wants to fight. He's critting for 850 damage. So with that Abyssal Blade, just because that's coming in from mostly from the damage aura from the Wolf. So Mule and Wolfcut are hitting very hard. Mule, his items have stagnated ever since he picked up that BKB. Blink Hoofstomp initiation over on Mule. Mule actually might be taking fall, but anything happens. Yeah, he's going to be taking a fall. There's not too much he can do. He pops the BKB before he dies, though. Misplay coming out from him. Yoda fleeing for his life. Glimpses back Mujreem, trapping in the kinetic fields, well as the Static Storm. EDF level 3, and then that Dragon Tail. Yoda's going to be taking a fall. And Cooley's actually able to steal the kill with the Weaver Beetle. That actually could be game right now, unless they buy back, but even then, Bambi Rising, that team fight's vastly superior. That golden EXP lead is heavily in their favor. 7,500 EXP lead, that's huge, and a 5,000 gold lead. And you consider the fact that 4k gold worth of net worth is invested in the hand of Midas. And Midas wasn't able to do enough work. Bambi Rising decided to go for early team fights. And 2IP weren't able to really respond. The instant they picked up that Blink Dagger on Centaur Warrunner, they played balls to the wall. Ghoulie pops the BKB. Thundercut's gonna be taken full. Too easy to stand and watch you saying, buddy, I can't do anything. Wolfcut, without the Abyssal Blade, he's gonna be taking another fall. EDF with that Dragon Tail. Hoofstomp, Ghoulie gets a triple kill in the back, and never mind, Visage steals it. And that looks like game for 2IP. I don't see how they can recover from this. Bambi Rising absolutely on fire this game. Mujreem, somebody give him a medal and some more smack talk coming in from 5200.
Dire's middle tower now belongs to the
But Wolfie, he's always there with the ready retort.
Radiant victory.
And game 1 going in favor of Bambi Rising. Mujreem playing absolutely out of his mind. His Blink Hoofstomp initiation completely turning the fights around as he's able to constantly pick off the supports over on 2IP. Too Easy and Thundercut, they did their best, but when you're instantly dying these fights, there's only so much you can do. Any final thoughts on the game, Valerie?
Yeah, I think Bambi Rising is to the window opportunity in the game they have where the lineups are strongest.
Yeah, definitely. They were able to.
Later, they would have lost.
Yeah, that's the power of that timing push. They recognized the Blink Dagger pickup on Centaur Warrunner, giving them significant initiation. Since there was the two Midases.
He brought time for it. I mean, he just holds them back too.
Definitely. Alright, we're just going to take a quick pause. We'll be right back with game number 2. And so stay tuned for more Dota.